everyone, I have a lower body workout for you today that is going to focus on abductors. So think outer thighs, outer hips, glutes, and hip rotators. So for equipment, you're going to need a resistance band and then a set of heavy-ish weights. So for the resistance band, you can go on the heavier side. It is going to be around your thighs, so medium or heavy. And then for the weights, I'm going to use a set of 15s because I had kind of a not ideal filming schedule this week. Just full disclosure, I should be using 20s, okay? So if you use, just sharing that in case you use what I'm using to gauge what weights you should be using. 15s, but I probably should use my 20s. Now for class, we are going to start with a quick Pilates flow, really firing up that target muscle group, and then we'll move into a strength circuit. We'll use the band for the Pilates flow. For the strength circuit, I give you 5 exercises. You do them each for 45 seconds with 15 seconds to rest in between, and we go through the circuit 4 times because a few of the exercises are unilateral, so we'll switch right, left, right, left. We'll start class with a guided warm-up. That'll go right into our Pilates flow, and then you'll get a minute to recover while I show you a preview of the circuit. We'll go into our circuit. We'll finish up with a quick cool down. No jumping today, so your best way to modify is go lighter with the weights or ditch the band as needed. Okay, I think that's it for talking. Well, I'm going to talk through the class, but we can get to moving. Let's start with our warm-up. I want you to find a tabletop position, and we're just going to start with a cat-cow. So inhale, reach the tailbone up to the ceiling, reach up into that extension, and then exhale, round the back up to the ceiling, filling the space between your shoulder blades. One more like this, and then we're going to turn it into a circle. So this time you're going to come into that spinal extension, gaze shifts up, tailbone reaches up, and then we're going to start to side bend, bringing our right shoulder and right hip towards each other. And then as you exhale, you're going to round up towards the ceiling just like we were doing, but then you're going to take that side bend over to the other direction. So think about bringing your left shoulder and left hip together, and we keep circling like that. So it might look a little silly. Who cares? It feels so friggin' good. Get that spine moving. Let's switch direction of our circle now. One more circle. And then I want you to elongate that spine through neutral in our tabletop position. We're going to do hip circles. We can start with the right leg. So start with a donkey kick. Knee stays bent. You're going to drive that foot up to the ceiling, firing through the glutes. You're going to externally rotate in that hip joint, and you're going to swing that right knee up and out to the right, and then you're going to lower it down. Keep moving in that direction. So these are slow, controlled circles within that hip joint. Trying not to just dump all of our weight over to the left as we do it. Now I want you to stay on this side, but switch direction of your circle. So you're going to start with a hydrant. Peel that right hip up and open to the right. Swing it back. Rotate to parallel. Lower the knee. Once more. And then I want you to come into a donkey kick and holding that knee lifted, engage through the core, pressing the mat away. I want you to bend and extend through the knee, doing a little hamstring curl. Flex through the ankle as you curl the heel into your butt. Point as you straighten and lengthen through the leg. We're going to hold that leg straight in 4, 3, 2. Next time your leg goes straight, you're going to hold it straight, and we're going to move the pelvis. So I want you to take your right hip, and I want you to peel it open on top of the left. So you're opening up your hips towards me, and then if that's the direction you're facing, and then you're going to square the hips off, but come through square, drop that right hip down a little bit as if you could cross it over to tap your inner left thigh. So we're peeling the pelvis open and closing it off. You can come to tented right fingertips to give yourself a little more space as you move that pelvis. So now we're mobilizing the hips around that left thigh. Peel it open one more time, and then I want you to square off the hips, both palms planted, and then keeping your right leg straight, I want you to tuck those right toes down on the mat. We're going to trace an arm circle with this right side as we peel the hip open. So I want you to reach your right arm forward as you peel open, dropping that right hip down, and then just continue the circle, kind of squaring off the hips, reaching that arm forward. If the hips don't square off all the way, that's fine. Switch direction of that arm circle. Getting a nice opening through the side body as we do this. Once more. Pause in that side bend so your hips are open. The right arm is sweeping overhead, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. We're going to do that whole thing on the other side in 3, 2, 1. Come to center tabletop. All right, hip circles, left side. Start with the donkey. Kick the knee stays bent. You drive the heel up. Externally rotate. Swing the knee up and out to the side. Lower it down. As the leg lifts up, don't arch into your lower back. So you're engaged through the core. You fire through the glutes to create that lift. Let's switch direction of the circle. Start with the hydrant. Swing it back. Last time. And then I want you to find your donkey kick position. So lift that knee up, active through the core. You're going to straighten through the leg and then curl it in. Point to straighten, flex to bend. As you curl the heel in, try not to lose height through the knee. We'll hold the leg straight up next. You can come to tented, left fingertips, and we'll peel that pelvis open and closed in 3, 2, hold that leg straight, tented left fingertips, peel the left hip open on top of the right, and then come through center, drop it down as if you could tap your right inner thigh. Open it up and squaring it off. Hips are going to be good and ready for our strength circuit. Now, next time you come through square, I want you to plant your left toes down on the floor, and we're going to circle this left arm. So you're going to reach it overhead as you drop your left heel, opening up, trace a nice big circle. Engage to the core. I know it's a little bit of balance. If you feel like you're losing your balance, change the angle of this right shin, kick it out to the right a little bit, and that'll help. All right, now switch direction of that circle. We're going to grab our band up next. I want you to hold in the side bend position so you peel the hips open. Left arm sweeps overhead. We press our hips up towards the ceiling. We're going to grab that band in 3, 2, 1. Let's grab our band. We're going to put it around our thighs. We're going to come into a side lying position. Really fire up those hips and glutes here. So you can mirror me. We can start laying down on our left side body. And we're going to lay all the way down today, okay? So you can have your arm long if you like. I like to bend and rest my head on it because it helps keep my neck in alignment a little more. So I want your shoulders and hips in line with each other. And then you're going to bend your knees and you're going to hop them forward. Again, band is around your thighs, a couple inches above the knees. So to start, let's make sure we're engaged to the bottom side obliques. We're not collapsing down. So think length through both sides of your waist, and that's going to keep your pelvis square, okay? If I flatten my bottom side body, my pelvis is now at an angle. Don't want that. Okay, so we're going to squeeze our heels together. We're going to start with a dynamic clamshell. So we're going to open up through that top leg as the bottom heel lifts. You're kind of butterflying your legs. Push the heels together. So we're externally rotating through this top leg, but also the bottom, all right? Push the heels together. Everything opens and lifts. Now, as you do this opening, we don't roll back through the hips, so keep this right hip stacked on top of the left. We're going to hold at the top and we'll just do the clamshell of the top leg in 4, 3, 2. Next time you lift up, I want you to hold the heels lifted and we just clam the top leg. Exhale, peel it open. It doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. We're neutral to the spine, so make sure you don't start tucking your tailbone under. But you also don't want an excessive arch to the lower back either. Just want that neutral position. You have a hold coming up before you get to drop that bottom leg. In 3, 2, next time you open it up, hold. Really push your heels together, okay? So that bottom outer hip is working too. In 4, you're going to lower everything down. In 3, 2, 1, lower everything down, but then right away lift the top leg to a hover parallel. We're going to do internal to external rotation, keeping the thigh about parallel to the floor, okay? So you're just seeing the shin kind of windshield wiper up and down. But really think about where the movement is originating, that thigh bone rotating within your hip joint. Keep the thigh at a hover so there's constant tension on the band. We're going to hold that internal rotation coming up next. Give me one more here. Hold the internal rotation so that's foot up and just give me a little pulse against the band. A little pulse. A little pulse. You have just one variation to get through, okay? This flow is quick, but with the band, it does not take long to really build up that burn right here. Pulse 4, 3, 2, hold the leg at a hover, but come through parallel. And now I want you to kick that right leg straight, kind of towards me, and a little pulse against the band. Don't tuck your tailbone under, so it doesn't have to sweep forward too far. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, pulse 3, 2, 1. Bend those knees, stack them. Whoo, awesome job. All right, so we're going to come up and do that whole thing on the other side. So I want you to swing it around. Well, you don't have to. You could just flip onto the other side, but I'm going to be facing you. And now we're going to lay down on our right side. You want to make sure hips and shoulders are in line, so we're neutral through the spine. And then we bend the knees and we hop them forward. So we're going to start with that dynamic clamshell. So heels are going to squeeze together. As you clamshell open through this top leg, lift your bottom heel. Engage to the bottom side obliques. Let's go. We repeat that on this side. Lift on the exhale. Not rolling back through the pelvis. So we keep left hip stacked on top of right. We're going to hold everything lifted, or we'll hold the bottom heel lifted, I should say, and we'll continue to clamshell the top leg in 4. Next time up, hold that bottom heel, just clam the top leg. Push the heels down in towards each other, or I should say push the bottom heel up, push the top heel down. Little clamshell of that top leg. We have a hold, and then that bottom side gets to rest down on the floor. Hold in 4, 3, 2, hold. Push the heels towards each other, peel open. We lower the bottom heel down in 4, 3, 2, lower everything down, but right away I want you to lift that top leg. Thighs are parallel. We're going to do internal to external. So we're keeping the leg at a hover, parallel to the floor. So constant tension on that resistance band. We'll hold internal for those little pulses coming up. Woo, I am feeling that burn. Next time we go internal, you're going to hold and give me a little pulse up against the band. Hold that internal rotation, so keep wrapping the thigh inward, active through the obliques. We have one final change to get through. Thighs parallel, we'll kick this top leg straight. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it at a hover, come through parallel, kick that left leg straight, pulse up against the band to finish. You got it. I know it burns. Stay with me. Give me 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Woo! All right, so you have a minute to recover here. I'm going to show you the exercises in our strength circuit. We're going to keep the band around our thighs, and we're going to start on the mat and make our way to stand. First up, in a modified side plank position, it's going to be a hip lift with a hinge. So the hip is going up and forward, back and down. Have a weight on the outer hip for added challenge. From there, we're going to come onto our back. It's going to be a single leg glute bridge lift. You're going to extend the hovering leg, abduct out against that band. We're then going to come to stand. It's going to be a squat to a straight abduction, alternating the side of that abduction side to side. Use both weights for that one if possible. From there, we are going to hold low in that squat, and it's going to be a lateral side step, trying to stay down low in that squat the whole 45 seconds. You can always ditch the weight if it's too much, staying low with it. Final exercise, we ditch the band and we go back to unilateral work. It is going to be a single leg deadlift to a curtsy lunge, single leg deadlift, curtsy holding one weight. All right, 45 seconds in exercise, 15 seconds rest in between. Let's go. So we'll start with our right leg as the focus, which means we want it on the bottom of this one, okay? And we'll put the weight on our top left hip. Now the setup for this, come like you're gonna come into a kneeling side plank. I want your elbow and your knees in one long line, okay? If you trace a line, they're in one line. I want your hips behind that line. When you lift up though, the hips are gonna come right in that line. So hips in the line, behind the line, okay? That's important. Okay, grab that weight. You do not need to use the weight if it's too much, but otherwise, we're gonna keep it on top of that left hip. So we're gonna lift up into that side plank, abducting the top leg. Both legs are working just differently. Let's go, exhale. Lift up and forward with the hips, back and down. So why I emphasized that forward and back motion is because that is how we get the glute need. Exhale, lift it up. Okay, rest. Now I want you to flip onto your back and we're going to bring the weight to the right hip. Your left arm is down for support. Your left leg is at a hover. I want it straight parallel with the right. So you're going to lift your hips up in that single leg bridge position, and then the left leg is going to push out against the band, back in. Lower the hips down. Exhale, press your right foot into the floor, lift it up. Press out against the band and lower. When you press up, really squeeze into your glutes. Don't flare open through the ribs. If the weight is adding too much load, ditch it. Keep your hips level to the ceiling at the top. Woo, okay, we're gonna come to stand and we're gonna grab both weights. So it's gonna be a squat to a straight abduction. So we're gonna rack those weights on our shoulders and we're gonna alternate side to side, okay? Squat it down, come up, one leg abducts. So when you do that straight abduction, don't think of crunching into your side body. So it's not this, it's coming from the hip. Knees are tracking in line with your middle to pinky toes on that squat. Pushing out gently against that band. Rest, drop down to one weight. We're gonna hold out our chest. We're gonna find a low squat position. You're gonna low side step, one end of your mat, then the other. Let's go. Find that low squat position and you step. One end of the mat to the other. Pushing out against the band. Trying to stay low. You're open through the chest, but not flaring through the ribs and arching into your lower back. So we maintain neutral spine. Really plant down through the foot. Step, push against the band. Whew, okay, ditch the band. We're gonna stick with one weight. We're gonna do a single leg deadlift to a curtsy. We'll go back to right leg as the base leg, okay? So right foot is gonna stay planted. Left hand has the weight. A little bit of a balance challenge. Let's go. Single leg deadlift. Bring it up to a knee drive. And then step that left foot back, curtsy. So you want to try to keep your hips level. Glute medius is working. To not only in the curtsy lunge is it working, but when we're in this single leg balance position, it's working to keep our hips level and not letting one drop down. Woo, all right, you have 30 seconds to rest. So I lose my mic. So we're gonna do that whole thing from the top. When we get to the single leg work, it'll just be the other side. So band back around our thighs. Come down to the mat. You need a single weight. Mirror me. Left side is down. Weight on our top right hip. Elbow and knee in line. Hips are going to come up and forward. Let's go. So we're stabilizing through this bottom shoulder, pushing the floor away. We're not sinking down into the bottom shoulder. Your ear shouldn't be on it. Flip onto your back. So left leg is going to be your base in this single leg bridge. So let's bring the weight to that left hip. Right arm is down for support. You want to make sure that left heel is under the knee about, and then that right leg is going to go at a hover. We're going to press the hips up, and then you're going to abduct that right leg out to the side. Lower the hips down. Woo, okay, we come to stand. Gonna grab both weights. Squat to straight abduction. If it's too much with both weights, just do it with one. Let's go. Whew, drop down to one weight. So we're going to find that squat position and we're going to sidestep it. Open through the chest. Send those hips down and back. Little steps. Can you get 1 inch lower? Okay, so you're going to ditch the band. We still need the weight. Weight is going to go in our right hand, and then the left foot will be our base. Single leg deadlift to curtsy. Up to a knee drive. Step to your curtsy. And rest. All right, we're at the halfway point, so you can take a little longer. Take 45. So a note, if balance is an issue on that one, you can always do staggered single leg deadlift to your curtsy, planting the ball of your foot as you go, okay? Otherwise, we're gonna get that band, gonna go back around the thighs. So you're gonna come down to the mat with your weight. You're gonna mirror me. Right forearm, right knee down. Again, they're in line. Your hips are a little behind. They're gonna come forward. Let's go. Really squeeze into the bottom right side glutes, as well as the top side because you're pushing up against the band. But really get the bottom right side here. Ooh, and we come on to our back. So the right foot is going to stay planted, so move the weight to that right hip if you are choosing to use it. Right foot is going to stay down, left leg is going to be at that hover. We'll push against the band with it though. Neutral through the spine at the bottom, and think about maintaining that neutral, firing through the glutes to lift the hips. Push out against the band, lower them down. Exhale, push them up. Equal length through both sides of the waist. So I know we only have one leg down for support, but I don't want you to drop the hips or hike the hips in response to that. Woo, come to stand. Both weights, squat to straight abduction. So you'll notice when I do this one, I squat, I come up, then I abduct. I know for me, if I come up and do the abduction as one fluid movement, I tend to crunch into my waist a little too much. So I'm breaking it into its parts so I can do it correctly and make sure the movement is coming from the right area, as opposed to this. But if you can do it fluidly and keep your form, then by all means, do it. Drop down one weight, or go body weight for this one. We'll do that lateral walk, one end of the mat to the other. So it's about 3 steps to one side, 3 to the other. Let's go. So don't just step out with the foot. Make sure as the foot steps out, the knee is pushing out too, okay? That way the band doesn't cause the knees to cave in. All right, notice, are you starting to get a little higher, a little higher? Sink low. Challenge the depth of that squat. Doesn't have to be your absolute lowest squat you would do if we weren't walking sideways, but I want you low. Okay, ditch the band. Right foot is base, left hand has the weight. Single leg deadlift to curtsy. Like I showed you, you can stagger it with the ball of your foot if you need balance assistance. Let's go. Otherwise, single leg to knee drive, step to a curtsy. Every time you come up, think of contracting into the right side glutes. Rest. All right, you have 30 seconds, which isn't that long. So let's start getting that band back around our thighs. We'll come down to the mat. Last time through, okay? Last time through. So you have 5 minutes before we cool it down. That's it. Left forearm down, knees bent, elbow, knee in a line. Hips start behind and move up and towards it. Stack that weight on your top right hip. Open through the chest, push the mat away. Let's do it. Give me that little pause at the top. Really squeeze into the bottom side glutes. You want to keep the hips stacked, so don't just think of pushing your left hip forward. Bring the right hip forward with it. Come onto your back. Left foot is planted for that bridge, so the weight is going to go on that left hip. Right arm down for support. Right leg is going to go straight. You can think thighs parallel. They kind of stay level as you do this. Lift those hips. Press out against the band with that right leg. As the hips go up, think the left foot pushes down. At the top, make sure you're not flaring your ribs. So I don't want this, okay? That signals to me your glutes aren't firing. Glutes push the hips up. Woo, come to stand. All right, squat to abduction. Come on, you got 3 exercises to get through. We got this. Pushing out against the band, knees tracking in line with middle to pinky toes, not rolling inward. Rest, drop a weight. Okay, we got this. 2 exercises to go. Open through the chest. So pushing out against the band, last banded exercise. I'm gonna just put this here so that I don't muffle my mic. Hopefully the last 3 rounds haven't been muffled, but I just realized that I was holding my weight right against my mic. Apologies if the sound isn't good. Send those hips back, stay low. Come on, last time you're gonna see this exercise. Can you get 1 inch lower for me? There it is. Rest. Ditch the band. Weight goes in your right hand. Left foot is the base foot, spread out. Single leg deadlift to curtsy. You got it. Take your time. Focus on balance. Contract into those left side glutes every time you come to stand. And done. Awesome work. You can put the weight down. I'm going to bring you through a cool down. And for our cool down, how about we come down to the mat? That sounds nice, doesn't it? Let's find a seated position. We'll start with an outer hip stretch. So you can take, let's start with the right foot. The right foot's going to step outside the left thigh. And then drop that right hip down if you notice it just whoop, peeled up, okay? From here, you're going to hug the knee into your chest. And with every exhale, think of melting that right hip down towards the floor. So I did a series of these classes using the same format where it's Pilates, then a strength circuit. So this was, of course, more outer thighs, outer hips, glutes. I have an inner thigh one. That one, oh my gosh, my adductors were sore for a couple days after that one. And then I also have an upper body core one. Let's switch. So again, think of taking this left hip, kind of anchoring it down towards the floor. And with every exhale, you think, melt it down. Now, keeping your right knee bent as it is, let's just take this left leg out long. So we're kind of in this half straddle position. And let's take a side body stretch. So you're going to slide the left hand along the shin, right arm sweeps overhead. Maybe you grab the foot, maybe you keep it on your shin. And then to really get the side body in the back, I want you to rotate your chest towards the floor and just reach this right arm forward. Reach it forward, reach it forward. You should feel a nice stretch through that mid-back. Big inhale here. Exhale, breathe it out. And then let's come up and do the other side. Right leg goes long, left knee is bent. And we slide the hand along the shin. Left arm sweeps overhead. Maybe you grab your foot. Maybe you keep it on the shin. Now let's really get that mid-back. So I want you to rotate your chest towards the floor and reach this left arm forward as you use this right hand as traction to kind of pull on that leg. We're going to take an inhale. Think of expanding your rib cage into your back. Exhale it out. And then let's bring it up tall to a cross-legged position. We'll finish with one breath together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, let it go. And that is your class. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for working out with me today, and I'll see you next time.